Picture this. Overnight, fortune turns in your favor. A modest investment explodes beyond expectation. A side project suddenly begins producing more money than you imagined. Or an inheritance you never planned for lands in your hands without warning. It feels almost divine, like the universe finally chose you. But Machiavelli warned us long ago, fortune is a woman. She rewards boldness, yes, but she abandons those who don't know how to hold her. What feels like a blessing can quickly become a sentence. Because sudden wealth, like sudden power, does not transform your character. It reveals it. It magnifies your habits, your weaknesses, your illusions. You think you've gained freedom. What you've actually gained is gravity. A force that pulls people toward you, friends, relatives, strangers, each drawn by curiosity, entitlement, or hunger for a piece of what you now possess. This scenario feels rare, but it isn't. Statistically, among those watching this video, several already hold winning crypto positions, unexpected business equity, or financial windfalls, and a few more will join them sooner than they think. Here is the dark reality. Most people who stumble into wealth do not keep it. Studies of lottery winners and instant millionaires reveal a brutal pattern. The faster the rise, the harder the fall. Within a few years, many are divorced, addicted, isolated, or bankrupt. They lose relationships, stability, and peace long before the money disappears. Why does this happen? Because they confuse wealth with wisdom. They forget that maintaining power is far more difficult than acquiring it. Machiavelli observed this in rulers who inherited kingdoms they did not build. He wrote that a man who becomes prince through fortune alone holds power only as long as fortune permits it. Money follows the same law. If you did not develop the discipline required to create wealth, the wealth itself will quietly destroy you. Before celebrating, understand this. Your greatest protection is silence. The world will push you to announce your success, to post it, to display it, to wear it publicly as proof of arrival. But those who broadcast victory invite invasion. The moment wealth becomes visible, vulnerability follows. The wise practice what can only be called stealth wealth. Men who control immense resources while appearing ordinary. Their homes look modest. Their lives seem simple, yet their reach extends far beyond what the eye can detect. History makes this clear. Cesare Borgia, one of Machiavelli's most studied figures, built power through strategy, charm, and calculated brutality. Yet even he learned that visibility breeds enemies. The more his fortune was seen, the more betrayal followed. Centuries later, the lesson repeated itself. Jack Whittaker won over $300 million in a Powerball lottery. Overnight, he became famous for his generosity, giving money to strangers, funding churches, buying homes for friends. The public adored him. But when the attention faded, so did everything else. His wife left. His circle vanished. His granddaughter drowned in addiction and excess. Years later, Whittaker admitted the truth. The money ruined his life. He said he wished he had torn up the ticket. That confession could have come straight from the prince, because the first law of sudden wealth is identical to the first law of surviving power. Conceal it. Hide your strength until it becomes stable. If fortune places gold in your hands, behave as though she hasn't, not out of humility, but out of survival. In an age obsessed with exposure, anonymity has become armor. You may believe you can manage the attention, that you can filter requests, control narratives, outsmart envy. But Machiavelli would remind you that men are fickle and comparative by nature. The moment others sense advantage, they begin testing boundaries. Even those closest to you will unconsciously measure themselves against your rise. And comparison breeds resentment faster than greed ever could. So the real question is this: how do you protect yourself in a world that worships visibility? How do you remain unseen while still advancing toward greater power? The answer is not only silence, but structure. Privacy is not just about who you tell, it is about how you build. This leads to the second law of sudden fortune, the Machiavellian art of disguise. You cannot simply be wealthy. You must learn to move as the wealthy move, unseen, insulated, and protected, behind layers that turn money into an invisible fortress. Machiavelli taught that a ruler's true defenses are not walls of stone, but systems of strategy. In modern terms, that fortress is privacy disguised as normality. Even if you say nothing, people will sense change. Fortune has a scent. Small upgrades, new habits, subtle confidence. The world teaches you to display success. Machiavelli teaches you to hide it. The first person you tell should never be family or friends. It should be an attorney, someone fluent in trusts, foundations, and legal shields. Because real wealth is not owned, it is structured. When Machiavelli advised princes to rule through intermediaries, he was describing the same principle. Power is strongest when it flows through layers that obscure its source. Today, that means trusts that separate your name from your assets, holding companies that shield ownership, and professionals who operate quietly while your public life remains unchanged. This is not paranoia, it is dominance. Jack Whittaker shouted his fortune and collapsed beneath it. The Rothschilds built theirs by remaining invisible for centuries. Even while financing wars and kings, they appeared modest, unremarkable, almost dull. Their influence spoke, where their lifestyle remained silent. That is stealth wealth, the aristocracy of restraint. Now, many will advise you not to quit your job. I disagree, but with precision. The point is not employment, it is momentum. Machiavelli warned that idleness softens men. The real danger of sudden wealth is not spending, it is stagnation. Do not abandon work. Abandon only what drains your autonomy. If your job suffocates you, leave deliberately, not as escape, but as declaration. Remain active, remain useful, remain building. A working man stays focused. An idle one becomes vulnerable to impulse. Look at the great builders of our era. Jeff Bezos fortified one fortress, Amazon, and expanded it relentlessly. Warren Buffett refined a single discipline, investing, for decades, and still shows up to work well into old age. They understand what Machiavelli understood. Focus is power, and consistency is a weapon. The prince who scatters his attention weakens himself. The man who spreads his fortune thin invites collapse. Once your habits stabilize, the next step is internal security. Machiavelli warned rulers to eliminate internal threats before confronting external ones. A sickness caught early can be cured. Ignored, it becomes fatal. Debt is that sickness. High-interest loans and credit cards are silent assassins. They feed quietly on neglect. When your accounts swell, they seem insignificant. But compound interest moves faster than ego. A 20% interest rate can drain wealth faster than theft. Crush debt first. Eliminate high-interest obligations before investing a single dollar. Paying off a 20% interest rate is a guaranteed risk-free return. Then evaluate remaining liabilities. Low-interest debt may be strategic to keep. High-interest debt must be erased. This is not frugality. It is warfare. As Machiavelli would say, the wise ruler spends not to appear wealthy, but to remain wealthy. By clearing your balance sheet, you do more than remove numbers from a ledger. You reclaim mental sovereignty. The quiet tension that shadows every decision dissolves. The voice that whispers this won't last finally goes silent. Without debt pulling at your thoughts, you stop thinking like someone who must obey money and start thinking like someone who commands it. Yet even with your fortress built and your internal enemies eliminated, the most dangerous threat still waits ahead. It won't come from markets, regulators, or taxes. It will come from emotion, specifically, the emotions of those closest to you, because wealth doesn't only attract opportunity, it awakens appetite. Once your defenses are secure, a new conflict begins, the war of emotion. Machiavelli observed that men are quicker to betray one who seeks love than one who commands respect. In the realm of wealth, danger rarely arrives wearing the face of an enemy. It comes disguised as familiarity, friends, relatives, lovers, people who believe your rise entitles them to your resources. When you ascend suddenly, others rewrite the past. You were lucky. I supported you. You wouldn't be here without me. Their reasoning isn't logical, it's emotional. They may not intend harm, but envy never announces itself openly. It whispers, it rationalizes, it waits. This leads us to the fifth law of sudden fortune. Never lend money to friends or family. The moment you do, you corrupt the relationship. If they fail to repay, resentment grows. If they succeed, obligation replaces respect. Either outcome weakens the bond. Machiavelli warned princes never to give what they could not reclaim without hatred. Money follows the same rule. Once people believe your resources are endless, they begin testing boundaries. A small loan, a temporary bridge, a sure-thing business idea. Refuse once, and you become cold. Agree once, and you become an institution. The answer is not cruelty, but calculated mercy. If someone you genuinely care about faces true hardship, medical crisis, disaster, real need, then give freely. But only once. Never call it a loan. Make it a gift with a single condition: they never ask again. This preserves the hierarchy. You remain generous, not obligated. And paradoxically, the relationship survives longer because the line is clear. Machiavelli's principle of mercy applies here perfectly. It is better to deliver one decisive action than to allow harm to accumulate slowly. Be firm, not harsh. Decide once. Move forward. Modern history is littered with cautionary tales. Athletes who rise from poverty often lose everything, not through reckless investing, but excessive generosity. Entire families placed on payroll. Endless dependence supported out of guilt. When the money fades, so does the loyalty. Mike Tyson earned over $300 million in his career and declared bankruptcy within a decade. His downfall was not indulgence alone, but the countless hands that reached into his fortune. Wealth reveals truth. Who values you, and who values what you provide? Machiavelli would remind us this is human nature. People remain loyal only while benefit flows. Your security must never depend on affection. It must rest on boundaries. To preserve fortune, you must occasionally appear cold. But remember, steel without control shatters, and control without warmth corrodes. The balance is to act like the sun, generous from afar, untouchable up close. Once generosity is mastered, a more seductive enemy appears: consumption. This is where more men fall than on any battlefield. The sixth law is ancient and unforgiving. Never consume the principal, only the yield. Those who remain wealthy treat money like farmland. They harvest carefully, season after season, without destroying the soil. Those who rise suddenly treat it like firewood, burning the foundation to feel temporary warmth. Consider this example. A family in California won a massive lottery jackpot. They bought a mansion, luxury cars, elite schools, designer everything. Within 2 years, they were forced to sell the house at a loss. Their fortune didn't vanish. It was devoured by taxes, debt, and unmanaged desire. They violated what can be called the golden rule of the prince. Your capital is your kingdom. You defend it. You live from its borders, never from its heart. In practical terms, this means you survive on what your wealth produces, not the wealth itself. Machiavelli advised rulers to maintain reserves because fortune is unstable. He who builds without measure builds for collapse. Calculate your freedom. Determine the annual income required to live as you choose. Multiply that figure by 25. That number is your invisible throne. If you need 200,000 per year, you must protect 5 million. The returns sustain your life. The capital preserves your power. Even if you are far from that number, begin thinking this way now. Every financial decision is either an investment in sovereignty or a surrender to impulse. Every dollar preserved multiplies your time, your calm, and your options. The objective is not excess. It is leverage. But once your system is in place, once your wealth can stand without your constant attention, a new question emerges. Where should your capital be deployed so it grows quietly, safely, and beyond emotion? The answer lies in the final stage of fortune, building a portfolio worthy of a prince, diversified, defended, and enduring. Now that you know how to guard wealth, you must learn how to govern it. Machiavelli warned rulers never to rely solely on fortune's favor, but on systems that outlast them. Wealth without structure is chaos waiting for a spark. Therefore, the seventh law of fortune is this: treat investing as governance. You are no longer merely earning, you are ruling. Investment is not gambling, it is statecraft. Every dollar is a soldier. Every market is terrain. Deploy recklessly, and you lose both capital and command. Organize wisely, and you build an empire capable of surviving recessions, wars, and time itself. This is what modern elites understand. The true 1% are not merely rich, they are sovereign. They move through markets with calm calculation, detached from panic, unmoved by noise. So how does a modern prince divide his forces? Consider this a framework, not doctrine. Machiavelli taught that a ruler strengthens himself through variety, armies, alliances, and fortresses. Your wealth should mirror that logic. First, allocate a strong foundation to broad, diversified equities, such as a total stock market index. This is your expansion force, the engine that grows territory year after year. Historically, this domain has returned close to 9% annually, a reflection of innovation, human ambition, and the power of compounding time. But the wise never assume fortune will always smile. They prepare for storms. That is why the second division exists: bonds. These are your diplomats, less aggressive, slower moving, but essential in times of unrest. While they yield less, 4 to 5%, they preserve order when markets revolt. Machiavelli would call this prudence, the balance between offense and defense. Next comes the anchor of every enduring empire: land. Across history, rulers and merchants alike secured their power in tangible ground because men will forgive many losses, but never the loss of what feels permanent. A carefully chosen property, whether residential or commercial, does more than generate income. It roots your wealth in reality. It produces rent, appreciates over time, and stands independent of moods and markets. While paper wealth can vanish with a headline, land remains. It gives your empire weight. Once your base is secured, you turn to the frontier, the speculative wing. In the modern age, this frontier includes assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum. But understand this clearly: you do not approach them as a thrill seeker. You approach them as a tactician. Machiavelli respected audacity, but he had nothing but contempt for recklessness. The same rule applies here. Limit exposure, 5 to 10% at most. These assets are not the foundation of your kingdom. They are scouts sent ahead to explore uncertain territory. Their upside is immense, but their discipline is fragile. If they succeed, they expand your reach. If they fail, your empire remains intact. Finally, every ruler must maintain reserves. Hold a portion of your wealth in liquid form, cash or high-yield savings. This is not laziness, it is patience. Liquidity is your peace fund, your emergency force. Your strategic advantage when others are desperate. A prince with cash never panics. He waits. When markets collapse and emotions run hot, he moves quietly, acquiring value at discounts created by fear. Even a modest 4 to 5% yield on a substantial reserve can generate significant income. Steady, invisible, and secure. It may not excite, but it sustains. Combine these divisions and you create a balanced dominion. Growth through equities, stability through bonds, grounding through property, asymmetric upside through speculative assets, and control through liquidity. Such a structure historically produces 6 to 7% annually across cycles. On 5 million, that is over 300,000 a year, earned without labor, noise, or dependence. That is not excess. That is autonomy. But never forget, markets breathe. They rise and fall. Fortune remains unpredictable. The objective is not stimulation, it is survival. The great Renaissance banking families understood this long before algorithms and charts. The Medici financed kings, influenced wars, and outlived revolutions not because they chased fortune, but because they built systems to restrain her. They diversified across regions, assets, and generations. They weren't merely wealthy, they became permanent. The same principle applies now. If you wish to stay rich, you must think in decades, not headlines. And yet, even sovereigns require enjoyment. Set aside a modest portion. If you operate in millions, perhaps a few 100,000, as discretionary wealth, this is not for display, it is for pleasure. Spend it on what genuinely enriches your life, not on symbols meant to impress strangers. Machiavelli understood the role of appearance, but only when it reinforced power. Thoughtful indulgence strengthens identity. Reckless luxury erodes authority. True wealth is not what you wear or drive. It is waking up and choosing how to use your time. Once your fortress stands, look beyond yourself. The final purpose of money is not accumulation, it is continuity. Invest in ideas, people, and causes that outlive you. Let your fortune become more than protection. Let it become philosophy. When power is guided by wisdom, it transforms into legacy. If you grasp this final law, you will understand that wealth is not noise, it is silence. It is not luxury, it is leverage. And as Machiavelli himself observed, it is better to act and repent than to hesitate and regret. So act, but act with foresight. Build your fortress, guard it, expand it, and never reveal where your true crown is kept. If you want to learn how to construct that fortress from nothing, step by step, using the same principles of patience and power, the next lesson is already waiting. You know where to find it.